Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics with another haul video. This is going to be all eBay pickups, stuff I picked up over the past few weeks. A couple of them were auctions, a couple best offer listings. It's a small stack, it's all key issues. Some of them, smaller keys, a couple of big keys that I'll save for the end, and a couple of them are slabs as well. I don't typically pick up slabs, but over the past month or so, I've picked up a handful of slabs, so kind of excited to start adding some in and looking at getting a bunch of books slabbed as well. So let's get right to it. The first thing was just I was hunting down some X-Men key issues with obviously speculation with the X-Men franchise coming into the MCU. Always was a huge fan of the X-Men. Love the original X-Men movies, at least the first two with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Awesome stuff. I've enjoyed the first class, the James McAvoy films as well, but I gotta say, I absolutely hated the Age of Apocalypse. I thought that was terrible. I could not get over the Apocalypse, makeup design. I don't know what it is. He just reminded me of like a McDonald's Happy Meal character. I just could not get by it. And just cram it when they try and cram in so many new characters that you love from your childhood, and it's kind of like, they're a blip on the radar. I just can't stand when they do that. So hopefully they do come into the MCU sooner rather than later, and that they do it right. So, and I don't think you can go wrong speculating on X-Men books. So I was kind of focusing on the female heroes. I think Marvel's obviously got a push to introduce a lot more powerful, female leads. Obviously, with Captain Marvel and the success of that movie, I think they're banking on a lot of that in the future. And the X Men are beloved characters. I think you see a lot of people kind of, some people either hate or love Captain Marvel, I guess. I was never a huge Miss Marvel fan, Carol Danvers fan, but I loved all the X-Men, and I love those characters. I love Rogue, Psylocke. So we're gonna see some of those books. So first thing is Avengers Annual number 10. I always loved Rogue. I think a lot of people love Rogue, and I think people will be psyched about her introduction into the MCU. So Avengers Annual 10 is obviously her first appearance. Cool book. Not the biggest fan of the cover. It's kind of got a lot going on. I do find it's hysterical. The Witness the Invincible Iron Man knocked out in action. He just looks like he's laying dead in a coffin in his Iron Man suit. That's hysterical. So pretty decent copy, 9.4. I think it was like $80, something like that. So the guy had like 9.0s, 9.2s, 9.4s, 9.6s. And I don't know. I was just trying to keep in a certain cost range. And he was able to combine two slabs in one priority box. And I can't stand paying for shipping for a single book. So if I'm doing best offers, I'm typically looking at sellers where I can get multiple books. So I already have a copy of this that's in pretty good shape, probably very fine near mint, raw. I've been wanting to have 2 or 3, maybe more copies of this, just not knowing what's happening. These are pretty affordable books right now in high grade, especially raw. I see enough people selling them raw. You're probably going to pay, 60 bucks or so for a near mint raw copy. So to me, I think it was like 80 bucks, maybe 90 bucks for this. That was pretty good, and I figured you never know if there's a defect, you can crack it and press it and get an upgrade. But anyways, happy about that. So the second book I added with this, extremely happy about this. Big Star Wars fan. Have loved Star Wars since I was a kid, and this is my absolute favorite Star Wars character, Boba Fett. Fantastic. This has got to be the best to me, the best book in the run. I love this cover with the 3 bounty hunters. It's just phenomenal. I mean, this is just fantastic. Empire Strikes Back. Come on, that's the best movie in the trilogy. Everyone knows it. Best movie in the franchise. Love it. I have a copy of this book, but it's not in the best of shape. And a 9.0, I'd love to have this. I'd love to have the keys out of the Star Wars run in 9.8s, obviously. But that's big bucks. So I was happy to get a 9.0 for under $100, and I'll flip my other copy. I was fortunate enough to get nearly a whole run, not nearly the whole run, a little more than half the run, about 70, 80 issues. Off of Craigslist a couple years back when I first got into books for like $50. It had number 42 in it. It didn't have number 1, but it had a bunch of the other stuff. It had 68, which is the origin of Boba Fett, in just gorgeous condition. So Love the series. Who doesn't? I'm pretty sure this is the first appearance of Boba Fett in the Star Wars run here. It doesn't say that on the CGC label. It just says Part 4, The Empire Strikes Back movie adaptation. Star Wars British cover gallery. I honestly don't know what that means. But anyways, awesome book. Happy to have another copy. So, all right, on to some of the raw books. So again, back to the X-Men, New Mutants Annual #2. This is the first appearance of Psylocke. Really cool. Dig the pink background for whatever reason. You got the New Mutants. You got I assume that's Excalibur there with Captain Britain, and I forget the characters' names. Obviously, I think right. Betsy Braddock is the sister of Captain Britain, right? I think. I can't remember. I know I'm bad at that stuff. Anyways, cool book. Again, I have a copy of this. Psylocke, I always loved. Probably my favorite female X-Men character. Probably just had to do with the way Jim Lee drew her in the 90s. You know, the kind of this ninja assassin with the side blades, and just, I never fully understood as a kid what her powers were, but I thought she was awesome. Certainly helps the way Jim Lee drew all of the X-Men female characters. So, yeah, great book. Again, really affordable. You can get these in the $30 range. This is VF Near Mint. I think I won an auction on this for less than 25 bucks. Might be high VF. It's got some stuff going on there. It's got like a weird, one of those weird, let's see if the camera zooms in. You can see it there. The page gets folded. I assume that's during the printing. It certainly doesn't look like something anyone else did, but yeah, it's not bad. It's got some color rub here. I think it's in the 9 range, so I'm happy with that. I think it's probably better than the copy I have. But another just great, fair, it's an affordable key to pick up. And with X-Men movies on the horizon, I love Olivia Munn, but man, I did not like, I think it was Psylocke she did in the Apocalypse movie, right? Not impressive, underwhelming for that character. Probably not her fault, just the direction they went with the movie. So again, hopeful the MCU does it right. So, all right, we'll stick with it. I actually got 2 copies. So this was best offer. The guy had one of those. I think I bought this first. A little bit better shape, a little bit brighter. Same thing. The guy had multiple books, so I wanted to get a couple of things. He accepted a really low offer on the New Mutants Annual. So let me get that out of the way. And this is just an awesome book. Spidey's my favorite run, obviously my favorite series. Punisher was one of my favorite characters growing up. So ASM 135. This is the second Punisher. I have a copy. Mine is beat to hell. I picked it up years ago on Free Comic Book Day. My shop runs a ton of sales, and as I was cashing out, he just had this sitting behind the counter, and I'm like, oh, how much for that? And he's like, it's really beat up. I'll give it to you for $10. I'm like, I'm not going to pass that up. So this is a great upgrade. It's not near mint or anything. It's probably in the fine range, but still fantastic book. Any books in the Spidey run are fantastic, of course. So I'm going to grab, especially the Punisher. Fantastic. Just great Bronze Age stuff. So glad to get an upgrade on that. Now for some of the some more kind of X-Men stuff. We got New Mutants 87. I love this cover. First appearance of Cable. I have it, but this was a great copy. This was a best offer. Seller who didn't do a lot with comics. Condition wasn't really listed, but just good enough pictures where I was like, man, this looks like it's in great shape. And it really is. Very minor defects. I think it's got to be a 9.4, a 9.6. The spine is crisp. And, I love to do the buy it nows or the best offers with sellers that are listing books when they don't sell a lot of comics. Because I just lowball the offers and see if they'll take them. I'm not going to pay top dollar for someone who doesn't deal in comics frequently, because you don't know how it's going to arrive. You don't know if they skipped a major detail that they just don't know about. The first one of these I got, the guy legitimately rolled it up and stuffed it in like a small poster tube. So that is the risk of buying from sellers who don't deal in comics. See a guy who's just got a single book listed, it's nerve-wracking. So I threw him an offer of $70 and he took it. So I think it was like $80 shipped. He did ship it priority. He took great care to ship it. I did message him ahead of time and ask, hey, do me a favor, can you please make sure it's either in a box and packed in a way so it doesn't slide around, or packed between thick cardboard that can't be bent. I see you don't deal a lot with comics, but this looks to be in really good shape, and I just want to make sure it arrives that way. And he was very polite about it. If you're going to be, be polite, and they should be polite back. If they're not, hey, just block them and move on, right? But anyways, fantastic book. Love this Liefeld McFarlane cover. You're getting the best of both worlds here with the 90s covers. Great stuff, and it's a great upgrade for me because I have 2 copies, but neither of them are slab worthy. So this certainly is. Really happy with the price. Really happy to get a better copy, and I love this cover. I love this more than New Mutants '98. I just, the whole McFarlane, the covers McFarlane and Liefeld did together, I just think they're great, and that one's awesome. All right, another big key from the X-Men stuff, Uncanny X-Men number 266. Again, I have it. I have a newsstand copy I'm going to be sending off to get pressed and slabbed and see what it comes out at. That I'll probably be flipping. This one is pristine. I won an auction. I definitely paid for it. This guy had a bunch of key issues, lots of pictures when it came into grades, which is fine, but he listed a lot of pictures, and it just looked absolutely beautiful. There's a couple faint, can't even see him from here, one little dimple. I think it'll press out. I don't think there's any color break. Corners are sharp. I am really hopeful this is a 9.8. Super psyched about it. Again, I paid for it. It was, I paid what it's going for. Maybe a little less than you get to buy it now for, but I don't care. With the other one, I'm going to flip. It's just gorgeous. Was not a huge fan of the Kubert's art. This is Andy Kubert. This is, to me, one of the best covers he did with the X-Men stuff. I think, any of the artists that took over, like after Jim Lee or McFarlane, just, oh man, that's a tough act to follow, right? So it just kind of a letdown for me, but this is a great cover. I love the green background. Gambit was, again, I always dug the character. I loved him from the 90s cartoon. So really cool stuff. Happy to have a really awesome copy of it. He had a New Mutants 87 too. I was bidding on both, and his New Mutants 87 looked every bit the same as his 266. So the bidding was getting up there. I wish I had just bit the bullet and bid a little higher. But hey, what are you going to do? I still got a good copy of it, but this one is fantastic. Psyched to have this. So, all right, last book. This is the best book, of course. Always going to save it for the end. Early morning auction, my favorite. Guy sets a major key to end at 9 a.m. on the East Coast. So there's not a lot of people doing the last minute bidding. He had a relatively high starting bid. Someone put the starting bid in at like 4 a.m. or something. And to me, the book was worth way more than that. Same thing. Good pictures, not a big description on condition, very vague. So I look at it and I kind of get a ballpark, worst case scenario, what I think it's going to be. What is that worth? And I just throw in my max bid. So I got it for $5 more than the starting bid. Incredible Hulk number 180. Of course, the first cameo of Wolverine. This is a really sharp copy. It's mid-grade. I mean, it looks really nice, but it's got, if the camera will zoom in, a little color break on the corner, a bend, and another one on the upper corner. And I contacted the guy about this. I haven't responded. When I got to the centerfold was detached at the upper staple. He claims it wasn't when he shipped it, but I don't know. I suppose it could have come out when I handled it. I really doubt it. But still, I'm not going to make a stink. He offered a return. I'm like, I'm not returning this for the price I paid. I have another copy. Mine is really beat up, but I got mine for like $80 last fall at a con. It's probably a 2 or 3 with the value stamp. This does have the value stamp. I'll hold on to both of them. I think Wolverine books obviously are going to keep going up. So I'll hold on to my extra 180 for a bit anyways, but just psyched to get a better copy of this. It's not 181, but it's the next best thing for me, of course. So yeah, fantastic. Super psyched to have a really pretty nice copy. I mean, a little disappointed about the staple, but again, for the price I got it for, there's no way I'd send it back. It's this book slabbed. I feel like it'll probably come back in a grade that makes it worth probably double what I paid for it. So I don't really know how much the pop staple. It's a single staple. It's attached. Everything else is in the book. So I'm not sure what that does, but still extremely happy with it. Great eBay hauls this time. Didn't have any problems with shipping on any of them. I stuck with pretty reputable sellers and just found, pretty good bargains. It's, always nerve-wracking buying from people who don't deal in comics. like that New Mutants 87, if that showed up damaged, oh god, I would have been heartbroken because I knew it was in gorgeous shape. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed looking at the books. If you did, please like, subscribe, hit notifications. I'm going to be trying to do these every weekend. So as always, happy hunting to you guys out in the comic book shops.